Hi everyone, this is Ravi. Welcome to my YouTube channel. As you all know, I have been teaching and publishing a lot of YouTube videos on test automation concepts by using traditional tools like Selenium, Cypress, etc., where user need to have a lot of coding knowledge. And also, I've started teaching and publishing the test automation concepts by using low code and no code platforms like Tricentis Tosca, Catalan Studio, Keysight Playwright tools, and so on. So, from today onwards, I'm going to start a very trending topic called generative AI based test automation tools. I have been researching in the market regarding the generative AI based test automation tools, and I found a very good tool called testRigor. So, testRigor is a generative AI based test automation tool. I'm going to start publishing a series of YouTube videos covering basic level, intermediate level, and advanced level concepts of AI based test automation tool called testRigor. Please do subscribe to the channel, click on bell icon, you'll receive notifications whenever I publish more videos. Don't forget to like and share the video. Thank you. This is our lesson 1, Introduction to Generative AI based test automation tool called testRigor. So in this lesson, I'm going to teach you what is testRigor test automation tool, how it differs when you compare to the traditional automation tools, why we need to use testRigor, and what are all the different features that are available in testRigor. testRigor is an AI agent that allows anyone to create end-to-end tests from an end user's perspective using the plain English language. Therefore, this eliminates the excessive test maintenance related to locator changes. So, this testRigor AI based test automation tool can automate your test cases by using plain English language. So, testRigor supports testing on the following platforms. It can support web testing on Windows, Mac OS, and Ubuntu operating systems, and also mobile web testing can be done on iOS and Android, and it also supports native and hybrid mobile application testing for iOS and Android mobiles, and it also supports native desktop application testing. It also supports mainframe application testing. So with testRigor, you can perform various types of testing on all these platforms: web-based testing, native hybrid mobile app testing, native desktop application testing, mainframe application testing. What are all the different types that you can perform? So you can perform acceptance testing, you can perform smoke testing, you can perform regression testing, you can perform system end-to-end testing, and also you can perform API testing, visual testing, and you can also automate the testing related to SMS and phone calls, and you can also automate the two-factor authentication and captcha testing. By using generative AI based test automation tool called testRigor, you can automate all these types of testing. So then, why do we need testRigor? So testRigor is an executable specification engine designed to allow anyone on your team to build, maintain, and understand tests created and executed in plain English language. So you need not to have any coding knowledge. You need not to know any kind of locators or locator methods. So testRigor provides a Chrome plugin to speed up test creation, and its AI powered system dramatically reduces test maintenance to a bare minimum and autonomously generates tests that reflect our end users behavior. So if you see on the screen, this is how testRigor's autonomous functional UI testing can be compared to the traditional methods. Coverage. So by using manual testing, you can cover 10% of your test coverage. And by using automation testing, you can achieve 30% of test coverage. By using record and playback tools, you can cover 10% of your test coverage. Whereas by using generative AI based test automation tool like testRigor, you can achieve 90 plus test coverage. So coming to execution speed, if you are performing manual testing in 2 weeks, by using automation testing, you can complete your execution within 12 hours. And whereas if you use any record and playback related tools, you can complete your execution in 10 hours. But by using testRigor AI based tool, you can complete your execution under 15 minutes with parallelization. How is it possible? I'm going to show you in my upcoming videos. And then setup time. Of course, by using manual testing, you need not to have any setup. You can directly start test execution. By using automation testing, you need at least 2 weeks to set up your automation tool. You have to install your tool, you have to maintain the dependencies, you have to install the dependencies, and then you need to configure all your folder structure, right? You need to capture all the locators, etc. And then if you are using record and playback related tools, it requires 1 hour to set up. In the same way, for testRigor, the setup is just 1 hour. So you need not to spend multiple weeks to set up testRigor. And then test creation time. If you are creating your test by using manual testing, it takes months to document your test cases. If you are using automation testing, it requires extensive developers hours to create your tests. If you are using record and playback testing, it takes months to create your automation tests. Whereas by using testRigor, it takes an hour to create your test cases. That is your test creation time. Support efforts. When you are performing testing by using manual, need to constantly update your test cases based on your application changes. And then if you are using any automation testing, you need extensive automation developer hours, right? Years together, you are going to maintain your test cases whenever there is a change in the application. And if you are using record and playback, you need to spend months to maintain or to support your test automation scripts. Whereas by using testRigor, you just need 1 hour per month to support your test scripts. Test stability. Manual testing, of course, stability is high. Automation testing, your stability is very low. Record and playback testing, your stability is low. Whereas by using testRigor, it is very stable. Tests are very stable. So what are all the differentiating factors when we compare testRigor AI based tool with your traditional Selenium tools? Selenium tests don't represent how user interacts with the app. Why? Because so when you are automating your test cases by using Selenium, we use the keywords and also we use the actions. We also need to use the Selenium keywords, and you also need to capture the element properties. You need to form your XPath, you need to form different types of element locators, right? You need to know different methods of element locators. So that means you're not interacting with the application as same as your end user. You're actually interacting the application with the technology. Whereas by using testRigor, you are going to generate the tests to reflect how users interact with your application. So when you are using Selenium, your team tries Selenium, but they were killed by test maintenance. That means when you are using Selenium, the test maintenance is very challenging. Whenever there is a change in the application, you need to change your script, you need to change your locators. Whereas by using testRigor, non-technical manual QA can build and maintain test automation while never falling behind. And also expertise in product usage but not in coding. When you are using testRigor, you can focus on your product because you need not to have any coding knowledge. Whereas in Selenium, you need to build your expertise in coding as well as in the product. So when you are using Selenium, when there are UI changes too quickly, then it is very difficult for us to catch up with the test script changes. So when you are using testRigor, the UI changes does not affect any test cases that you built by using testRigor. And then in Selenium, a full-time QA engineer to build 100 tests per year. Whereas in testRigor, you can multiply the count by 20. 20 times faster and 20 times less time to create tests with Chrome extension by using testRigor. And then in Selenium, a full-time QA engineer needs to spend a year to maintain 200 tests. Whereas by using testRigor, 99.5% less time is required to maintain the test cases in testRigor compared to Selenium. And then in Selenium, development time is eaten up by constant test failures and investigations. Whereas in testRigor, manual QA and non-QA can easily understand the test failures. And in Selenium, manual QA team does not understand automation test failures. Whereas in testRigor, you require just 30 minutes or less to retest all functionality with parallel testing. And you can easily understand the automation test failures because you are going to use the plain English language. Now, let me show you the testRigor official website. So this is your testRigor official website. This is a #1 generative AI based test automation tool. So as I told you, with testRigor, you can use free flowing plain English to build test automation. testRigor will understand and execute your instructions exactly as written. So the way testRigor operates is by translating high-level instructions that you provided in English language into a more specific set of steps, such as enter Kindle into search, press enter, click Kindle, click add to cart. So if you see on the right side, this is how testRigor can execute. You just provide the plain English prompt and click on update and execute. It's going to execute the test cases. So you can see how simple it is to automate your test cases. So I'm going to leave this link in the description. You can go through this particular website. Okay. So now coming to testRigor versus record and playback tools. testRigor captures user activity in production. testRigor's AI learns from real user activity, identifying patterns to create a library of actions to test. Whereas record and play tools watches a walkthrough of one of planned interactions. You will understand how users naturally engage with your product as a tester. What do you mean by that? So most test automation tools rely on planned actions, like a tester recording a step-by-step walkthrough of a feature. But testRigor takes a smarter approach. So instead of just recording demo interactions, testRigor watches how real users interact with your live application. So what buttons they click, what pages they visit, and what actions they perform most often. So this helps testRigor learn patterns from actual user behavior in production, not just ideal test cases. So rather than guessing what to test, testRigor builds a library of test actions based on how people really use the application. So this means your automation is always aligned with real world usage, helping catch bugs that matter the most. So testRigor uses generative AI capabilities to understand the real world user actions and then survives UI framework change. So most record and playback tools will fail to recognize an element if your application got any changes. Let's say your application is upgraded to the latest version. Then your record and playback tools fail to recognize the elements most of the times. But by using testRigor algorithms can match elements on the page even if UI framework and markup are different, using over 10 different signals to match elements on the new screen with old ones. So whenever there is a new set of application or whenever there is an upgrade to your application or changes to your application, the algorithm can easily recognize or match the elements. And then testRigor provides maximum coverage. Whenever there is a change in the functionality of your application, testRigor eliminates the need to record the new user actions. Why? Because autonomous regression testing discovers the new potential user flows that gets introduced, and it also can create tests to cover those new potential user flows because of the application changes, and it shaves time of regression testing. That means without having to re-record any activity or support any new set of tests each time functionality changes. So as I told you, whenever there is a change in the functionality, you need not to re-record any activity. Autonomous regression testing discovers new potential user flows and it automates the tests. So that's why you need not to have regression testing maintenance. And then by using testRigor, you can achieve speed at scale. So one by one recording don't scale as your company and code base grows. So whenever your company is growing or code base is growing, if you are recording one by one test case, it takes lot of time. So testRigor safely parallelizes your testing and allows you to move quickly even as you scale functionality and expand your user base. And here is your testRigor documentation link. I'm going to paste this link in the description. Let us go to the documentation. So to see the documentation, go to resources and click on documentation. So the documentation for testRigor is very, very good. So it provides all the information. How can you prompt your plain English language and what are all the different types of testing it supports. Let's say if you go to basic commands, you can see to click, to perform action like click, you can use options like double, triple, right, middle, long, in a context of using the mouse, etc. If you see the examples, you can write plain English language like click caught, click on third hello 5 times, click Chrome in the context of Pixel 3 XML. If you see here, click in the middle of the screen, or right click on third hello, or you can also specify long click on third hello, and you see here click on image from stored value logo, right? Click on image from stored value logo with less than 10% discrepancy. So you can simply specify these kind of plain English language commands. And to validate, let's go here now, reusable rules. So there are different types of reusable rules that you can create. Which means if you compare with your Selenium traditional automation tool, reusable functions. If you compare with your no-code, low-code tools, reusable test step blocks. So reusable test step blocks, reusable functions called as reusable rules. So by using reusable rules, you can create reusable functions. And also you can see here using variables. You can use the variables by using plain English languages, right? And validations. You can also perform different types of validations by using plain English language. If you see here, you can find something on the screen or page. You can validate the properties or content of an element, finding element with given properties and content. You can also perform visual validations, and you can also perform video validations, email validations, SMS validations. If you see here, contains, does not contain. You can simply prompt, check that page contains error. Check that page contains template, this one. And also you can use regular expressions. Check that page contains regular expression, this one. And also if you scroll down, you can match the URLs. Check the URL matches regular expression. Check that the page title is so and so. Check that page title contains example. So it's a very simple plain English language you can use to automate your test cases. If you scroll down, you can see here element specific validations. Contains simple template, does not contains simple template. Check that section contains simple template, dollar, and so on. And also is checked, is not checked. You can simply validate if the respective checkbox is checked or not checked. In the same way, you can use check that element color is so and so. Check that input has a value of so and so. So basically, I can simply validate if the input box contains a value. And also you can check, and also you can validate the element has some property. Check that property background color of my div is equal to black. Check that property width of my div is equal to a number to so and so, right? So these are all the different types of validations that you can perform. So you can just go through these pages and visual testing. And also you can see here API testing. So here is very simple plain English language. Call API, post the endpoint with headers, content type, and your application type JSON, and this is your body, and then check that HTTP code is 200. So you can automate your API test cases also by using plain English language. You can see here. And also uploading files. So you can simply automate uploading files functionality as well. Phone calls. You can simply automate phone calls related test cases. Make a call to so and so number and check it was answered. SMS messages. Send SMS to so and so phone number with content so and so. Send message to this number with text like this and check it was delivered. So this is how you can use plain English language to validate your SMS. And email testing. You can also perform email testing by using testRigor. And you can also perform audio testing by using testRigor. So you can also perform audio testing. And you can also perform database query testing as well. So testRigor can also support database query. So you can connect to certain external databases through ODBC driver and execute commands directly from your tests by using plain English language. So you have lot of information in the documentation. So you can use this documentation whenever you have any queries while automating your test cases by using testRigor. So now you all understand what is this generative AI based test automation tool called testRigor. So now it is time for us to start automating the test cases by using testRigor. So testRigor is a paid tool, but however, it gives you a trial version of 14 days. So let us sign up testRigor. So here you need to go to testRigor.com and click on sign up, and you need to provide your first name and provide your last name, and then provide your email ID, and you need to provide your organization name and set up your password. So once you complete filling all these fields, you just need to click on register now. So once you click on register now, you will see welcome to testRigor. Please check your email to verify and complete the next step. All you need to do is go to the email and click on verify link. So once you complete verification of the link, now you can log into the tool. Click on login and now provide the email that you have provided while registering, and then the password as well that you have provided while signing up. Click on sign in. That's it. So we have completed sign up process for testRigor, and now we have full access to the AI based test automation tool called testRigor. So in my upcoming video, we are going to start automating the test cases by using testRigor. If you have any queries, leave your queries in the comment box. I'll try to respond to your queries. Thank you. Hope you all understand the concepts of our first lesson. So in my upcoming lessons, I'm gonna give you a quick walkthrough of our testRigor automation tool. What are all the different options that are available? And then in our next lesson, we are gonna start automating our first test case by providing a plain English language prompting. And there are a lot of interesting features that are available in this generative AI based test automation tool called testRigor. We are going to explore all those features, and we are going to see how easy it is to automate our web test cases, mobile test cases, API related test cases, SMS test cases, audio test cases, video related test cases, and so on by simply prompting English language. Please do subscribe to the channel, click on bell icon, you'll receive notifications whenever I publish more videos. Don't forget to like and share the video. Thank you.